Hello, ladies. Happy Monday evening. Thank you for joining us. We are so excited to just share a little bit of our hearts with you and how coaching has been a sweet blessing to us and our families, and how God's taken our passion for health and fitness and serving women and our desire to, really just live a life that pleases Him and wrap it all up into one pretty sweet gift. And we're excited to share that with you a little bit tonight. So my name is Patrice Fuller, and so I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I have two little boys, Julian and Jonah, 4 and 2, so things are a little bit crazy. I've actually been coaching for 2 years, and Jonah's 2, so I had him and then decided to start coaching about a month after I had him. And how I got into coaching, I had been approached a couple of different times. I'm a personal trainer, actually, and so, I was kind of had it written on my forehead, asked me to be a coach. So I got asked all the time. And for some reason, I couldn't really picture it. And my husband kept saying, hey, listen, you should do this. You're basically already a coach. You're sharing your journey on social media. Why don't you go ahead and explore the coaching thing? But for whatever reason, I just wasn't, feeling prompted to kind of move forward. And looking back at the people, teams that I could have potentially been on, I'm really thankful because I joined a team that, the goal really is to honor God with this thing. And I know that, if I was on another team, it could have been just a completely different thing. So I really believe that was God, protecting me and steering me. And so I'm thankful for that, because the team you join really does matter. I really do believe that. And there are lots of teams. To keep it real, there are lots of teams you can join. And that's why we really want to be just clear with you about what our mission is and, how we like to do things as coaches. And, you get to decide if this is a good fit for you, both ways. So I decided to go ahead and join after I had my second baby. Had my first son and did not walk out of the hospital in my skinny jeans like a lot of the fitness people that I was following did. And I felt really shameful about that. And I felt like I had to go in my little closet and get fit the first time and then say, hey, okay, I'm in shape. And the second time I was like, no, there's other people who need my vulnerability. They need to see me being real. They need to see me on my journey, and they need to see, that they can join me and be a part of, getting healthy together. So I was like, okay, let's do this. I needed the accountability myself. Even as a personal trainer, I, had a little teeny baby and a 2-year-old, and things were crazy. And I tried to do random YouTube videos, and there was no structure. There was no accountability, nobody checking in on me. And I was like, you know what? I need this myself. And so I went to my coaches, my upline, her sneak peek, and saw how she combined faith and fitness. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is it. This is my heart. And I could not wait to sign up. She was like 80 weeks pregnant. So I was like, please don't go into labor before I can sign up, after I was saying no for 2 years. I had to sign up right then. But I ended up being able to sign up. I joined with her, and it's just been such a blessing ever since to see God grow me in so many different ways. The world says to do it one way, and He's calling us to do another way. And so through that, He's been able to just, really show Himself to me personally. So it's been a really neat journey with Him. So a little bit about Beachbody specifically. Yes, we are Beachbody coaches, and we say that proudly. You may not hear it often, and that's not because we're not very proud of the company that we're partnered with. It's just, really wanting to, have the opportunity to have conversations with people behind the scenes about what it is that we do. People have preconceived thoughts and, ideas about network marketing and Beachbody and all of that, but it really has been such a great way to really just reach more people. I, as a personal trainer, thought I had to be inside of a gym, 4 walls in the gym. That's how I reach people. And it's just not that way. So it's given us a platform, a bigger opportunity to reach more people for the Lord. So what Beachbody is a company that was created in order to make health and fitness accessible to everyone started off as, basically at-home fitness programs back in the day with the DVDs. And so they put together some programs, they put it out on infomercials, and they did really, really well. People were purchasing them, but then they went to collect intel to see how people were completing the programs and what their results were like. And they found that people weren't actually completing the programs. So they stumbled upon this little forum, like this message board, where people who had gone through the programs were coaching people who were currently going through the programs. And the results skyrocketed. People felt loved and supported and held accountable and were actually completing the program. So, the CEO, and they were like, hey, listen, they're onto something. They're doing this on their own time, their own dime. Let's create a compensation plan for them so they can get compensated for what they're doing. And that's how Team Beachbody was born. So basically, we're a team of coaches who listen to people. We really get to know what their struggles are, what their needs are, what their goals are. There's a few different kind of aspects, fitness, nutrition, accountability. We'll get into that a little bit as the night goes on, but we add that faith element, which is super important to us as well. So that's what Beachbody is. That's how it came to be. And Caren's going to talk a little bit about what more specifically we do as coaches.
Yeah, it is so good to see everybody here tonight and see all your faces and babies joining. Oh, the more the merrier, seriously. This is just so cool. I'm going to sum up my story in like I can't do it in 60 seconds, in 2 minutes, as much as I can. But all that to say, my name is Caren. I'm also a wife and a mama. I have a 2-year-old, and we live in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Also a certified personal trainer and a licensed social worker. I actually was introduced to Beachbody 5 years ago because of this guy. He has no idea that he was just on camera. So my husband was in medical school, and he's actually, at that point, I was in gyms all the time. I only knew of a gym to get fit, and he just looked at me one day and he said, I don't have time for a gym. I don't have time to run. Like, can you find me a home-based fitness program? And we were married, 3 months, and I laughed in his face, and I was like, those don't work. But he was just like really determined to find something that would work for him. And so we found T25 by Shanti, and came with something called Shakeology, which I was like the biggest skeptic about. That's a whole other story for you. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to give this the full experience and see what this whole thing is all about. And I told him I'll do the program with him just to see, is it even possible to get results from home? I was not pregnant at that point, no desire to be at that point, but I just wanted to see. And basically, I fell in love with Beachbody's fitness programs and their trainers, their style that they were doing things. I battled eating disorders in my past. I've always had this misconception that you had to work out over 2 hours a day to see results, and Beachbody was just busting myths left and right for me. The way they did nutrition was so sustainable and realistic. I was just like, this is something I want to get behind. And so when I heard about the coaching opportunity, I just Googled it, and I wanted to be a coach immediately. I just knew it was a cheerleader, like somebody who literally just was running the race themselves and just pulling people next to them saying, hey, do you want to run with me? Do you want to run with me? Like, that's all a coach is. I didn't overcomplicate it. I knew that that's what it was. And God said no for 2 years. Literally, no, just flat out red light. And I was like, but it's my dream job. And he's like, yeah, no, but no. And so again, long story short, this was actually incredibly painful for me. It was 2.5 years really of me waiting, and it was hard. So all that to say, I met Michelle Myers after that 2.5 years. I was stalking her on social media for a year like a total creep, just fell in love with her heart for Jesus and her devotion to her family and her passion for fitness his way. And one day she was recruiting to Team Iron, and I reached out to her, and once I realized it was Beachbody, I actually canceled that application. But it was my husband who said, you should talk to Michelle Myers. And so I did. And I think I cried 80% of that phone call because I saw the green light. And ultimately what God was saying is, Caren, if you want to do this business my way, you have to follow someone else doing it my way. Because the reality is exactly what Patrice said. We imitate who we follow. We're influenced by who we follow. And I couldn't admit that if I was under another upline, I would change who I was. But I think I would not be the same, truly. So I'm so thankful to be here. I've been a coach it will be 4 years in July. And so it's been a long time, still love it. Every single day I wake up just excited to see what's on God's heart. So our role as coaches is exactly what I said. You don't have to be the expert. We have the trainers. We have the registered dietitians. We have the experts. So please don't disqualify yourself if you're not the fittest, if you're not the smartest, if you're not the most tech savvy, if you're not the most business minded. Don't disqualify yourself. I firmly believe that God can use anyone who has a heart for him and a heart for people and just has a desire to serve in health. You should be passionate about health to some extreme. I'm not saying you love to work out. It's okay if you don't love to work out, but you should understand that wellness has value, that our bodies shouldn't be a barrier to anything God calls us to do. And there's that passion to be advocates of freedom and of wellness His way. If you don't have that passion, this probably isn't the best option for you. Just really simple. So that's pretty much our role as coaches, is we come alongside people to not just help them begin, but help them continue and then finish and then continue again. A lot of people are really good at starting, maybe even continuing, but not finishing. So your role as a coach is to create environments where we can really do that for people. So I'm actually going to dig right into, we have 4 vital behaviors, or 3 to 4 vital behaviors, things that are really important for you to do behind the scenes every day to see your business grow. And that's important for you to know here tonight on the sneak peek, because this is what you would do every day as a coach. And one of the first one is just being proof the product works. So our story becomes our business, 1,000%. Right now, if you begin coaching, you can be successful with this one thing, and that is your story. Nobody can discount it. Nobody can argue against it. And so one of the things that we believe as coaches is that we have to practice what we preach. I don't want to be an icky salesperson. Do you? A lot of people attribute MLMs to icky salespeople. It does not have to look that way. For me, I don't even want to say Beachbody oozes out of me, but my passion for wellness with God and nutrition, all those things just come out of me very naturally every single day because I'm living it every single day. I always tell people I won't quit Beachbody unless I become a fraud. That's the only thing I could really see, unless Beachbody does something really wacky. But every day, Shakeology's been a part of our family for 5 years. It was my prenatal when I was pregnant, approved by my doctor. Like, she researched it and said, you don't need a pill. This is legit. Luca has been drinking it since he's been 10 months old. Everything that we do here, I'm a walking testimony of it. So if you're really considering coaching, that's something that's going to be really important, and it makes your business so natural, is when you're just able to talk about it so naturally. Your story is powerful, and you keep building on your story. Think about your faith. When you're sharing Jesus with other people, what is the basis of evangelism? Yes, it's God's word, but it's also your testimony. And so we first have to be walking with God, then working with God. It's the walk before the talk. And so it's the same thing with Beachbody. You're walking it, you're living it, you're experiencing it. It doesn't mean you're perfect. Nope. None of that. It's not about perfection, but it's about excellence and consistency. Even when you're failing, you share about it. It's vulnerability. A lot of people ask about social media. Is that a must? It is a huge platform that we use to document our journey and document our story. Is it a must right away in the beginning? Not necessarily. I actually think that if you're willing to take a couple of weeks in your business to really focus on face-to-face first, I think it has so much power. But yeah, I would say social media is a wonderful option that you should take advantage of, and we'll coach you in that. Part of our trainings, if you say yes, is we're here as your mentors. We're not your bosses, by the way. So there's no boss. You're the boss. Well, he's the boss. Then you're the manager. But you know what I'm saying? And so, but understand that at the end of the day, you kind of get to decide where your journey is going to go and the pace of your business, but we're going to give you all of our trainings and our resources to really kind of work off of that. So that's pretty much what we want to just dig into, is your role as a coach, and then the first vital behavior, which is being proof the product works. I'm going to jump it back to Patrice to talk about the next 2.
And I love that, because a lot of people's fear with getting into, a business like this is, I don't want to feel yucky or salesy. But guess what? If you're living it out, if it's just a natural outpour of what you're doing, you're not going to feel that way. Just like if you go to a restaurant and you have an incredible experience, whether it's the servers, the staff, the food, you're going to talk about it, right? So it's the same thing with this. If you are, you're working out and you're seeing your body change through these programs, and you're seeing these incredible results, you're going to want to talk about it. And guess what? People are going to be asking you. So it's a very natural way to share what's already a big part of your life. So another thing that we do as coaches is we commit to personal development, professional development, however you want to put it. So we definitely believe, that there is, that non-negotiable, like, time with Jesus. And then I feel like in addition to that, there's also a place for just committing to not staying where you are, whether that is, that you struggle with leadership or just whatever kind of your struggle area is, that's where you would cater your personal development to. I know for me, leadership over the past 2 years has looked differently in different seasons of this business, and God's kind of gotten a hold of my heart, and, me teaching me how to be a leader. And so a book that I'm reading right now is called Lead Like Jesus. It's very, very heavy heart focused versus behavior focused. And so, there's going to be lots of different recommendations that we have for you on all different kinds of books that you can read. There's podcasts, whether you enjoy reading or you would rather listen to a podcast or watch videos. It's going to be, so many different options based off of, kind of your season of life. And I'll talk about that in a second, fitting it in a little power pocket. So throwing on a podcast on your way to work, and it can be 10 to 15 minutes, but I like to say reading or listening to something until you find something to take away, because knowledge in itself is not really power. Like, we could sit around and listen to a podcast, we could read books all we want to, but if we're not actually applying what we're learning, what good is it doing for us? So it's really, taking some time to learn, to grow, to get out of your comfort zone, because that's where change happens, right? So learning something and then taking it and implementing. And it's a really neat way to be able to have something to share with people. So with your clients, with your coaches, with social media, being able to provide value. That's another thing that we do as coaches. We don't just share our journey to say, oh, look at me, I got my workout in. Oh, look at me, I'm eating healthy today. This is my journey. This is what I'm learning. This is how I'm growing. This is where I messed up, and how, God has gotten to me in this area and he's changing me in this area. So it gives us an opportunity to provide value to the people that are, in our influence, in our sphere of influence as well. So 10 to 15 minutes listening to something that's going to help you grow. Team Beachbody has an incredible podcast you can listen to learn more about the business. We, have new coach trainings when you first join. We have team calls, depending on the season, weekly, bi-weekly, and just constantly, there's so many opportunities for you to plug in and learn and grow. Like Caren said, we are your mentors, and you have a team. When you join, you are not by yourself. We have, a team to be there for you and support you and provide you with lots of resources so that you feel equipped to be able to help people. So, inviting.
All right, so here comes the one that everybody wants to hang up. So let's talk about invitation, because that is the heart of the business. And I always call, Beachbody says invite, invite, invite. We say invest, invite, invest, invite. So why I love inviting so much, and it's probably my favorite, quite honestly, is because you don't really earn the right to invite somebody into anything until you've built a friendship foundation with them and have invested in their life first. And so my goal every single day is just, how can I pour into people? And it's not, you might be like, well, Caren, it just seems weird. Like, you're pouring into people with a secondary agenda. Not really. I have an assignment to pour into people every day, because that's the gospel. That is not a Beachbody thing. That is a gospel thing. And so if from those conversations, we start to have a friendship, and, they see my stories, they see my social media, or they come at me with a question where it's health related, who am I to keep it from them if I've got a solution? So what I want you to focus on is behind the scenes. Yeah, every day there should be some level of connecting with people. How can you be praying for them? And please do me a favor and don't ask that question unless you're actually going to pray for them. I am guilty of having done that and not doing that, and God convicted me hard about that a year ago. And so, but just simply that question of, how can I be praying for you? Or how are things going? How's marriage? How's motherhood? It's just connecting every single day and planting seeds of conversation, relating to people, and taking it to a whole different level. And then from there, invitation matters. And then people say, well, I don't know how to invite, because that's where it feels salesy and creepy. I love business. That's what's really funny about this. Inviting to me is, you can work this business passively, where you're waiting for people to come to you first. So you're reactive, right? Or you can be proactive. And I can't not be proactive, because every single day I'm standing here today who I am because Jesus proactively pursued me. Who am I to wait for a sister who is in need, actually needs a community and a support and structure with her health journey, discipline, freedom, and I'm over here like, maybe she'll come and reach out. No, she's not. Insecurity, fear, doubt, shame. She's desperately waiting for me to reach out my hand. That is how I envision inviting every single day, is me going like this. That's it. It's listening, it's talking, and it's saying, hey, this is what I'm about to do. Do you want to do it with me? And that's how simple it becomes. You listen first, and you talk less than you should. You listen more than you talk. And if from that there is something that you have that is relevant, you share it. You don't sell it, you share it. And then you have a conversation about it. It's not a presentation, it's a conversation. And so that is what the heart of this business. A lot of coaches struggle with this one because I think they overcomplicate it, or there's a lot of insecurity for them. But what I can tell you is we have a lot to offer, from fitness programs, food freedom, nutrition courses, Shakeology. There's so much that we have that people out there need. I had somebody ask me this question recently. She said, I hate that I have to pay money to get healthy. And I said to her, I know, it stinks. The reality is our world today, our agriculture is a disaster. I mean, before we used to walk all the time before we had cars. We now live in a day and age where it is no longer easy to get true nutritious food. You have to pay for it. It's no longer easy just to walk everywhere and, go chase down your own food and kill it. We don't do that anymore. We're not as active. So yeah, now you've got to have a home-based workout program to get your body moving and prioritize. So I just want you to understand that what we're offering is very much needed today. Fitness is never going to go out of style. It's never going to be something that you just, it's a fad that dies. I mean, it can be a fad, but what we're offering is a lifestyle change and a sustainable approach to transformation with your health. And so for me, I never feel shame or weird when I link arms with somebody or when I reach out my hand, because I know what we offer is quality. Beachbody offers quality. Y'all, it is quality programs, quality nutrition. I would not stand behind it if it wasn't. And then I know what I offer as a coach. And the beautiful part about our teams is that we lead a lot of things together. So if you're a new coach and you've already got a sister that's could love Transform 20, this new 20-minute program, and you're like, I'm too scared to run a group by myself. Cool, hop in mine, hop in Patrice's. We've got your back. This is the beauty of working as a united team where we don't leave anybody high and dry. And so if you can already think of one person that could benefit from a 20-minute workout program, there's a place for you on that team, because they need you. They don't need me. They need you and your voice and your story and your kind of support. So that is inviting, just in a quick nutshell. You've got to have something that you're inviting to, and you have to be willing to be courageous and be faithful in asking the question and leave the outcome to the Lord.
Yes. I mean, think about when you were invited to this call tonight. Did you feel like the person who invited you was being really weird and icky? No. I even think about when I was playing basketball in high school and I got recruited, or asked by coaches if they could come watch me play. I didn't think they were weird. I felt, I felt honored, and especially that they thought about me. And I like to ask my clients who join, I'm like, okay, well, what made you join me? Really, what made you join me? I know you follow such and such coach, or, what was it? And the majority of people say, you asked me, you invited me, such and such coach. They didn't ask me, you saw me. And I think that's something really special, that we have the opportunity to see people that might not ever, be connected to anybody else. And we get that privilege. I feel like it's a privilege and an honor to get to, to do what we do. So there's so many different ways that you can kind of cater your schedule to be able to fit in these activities into your day. And that's the neat part, is it's customizable to your schedule, your season. There's not, one size fits all. Your business has to look this way. And it's easy to look at different coaches, maybe on their social media, or what you think their day might look like, and not picture yours looking like that. For maybe Caren and I, who do have, more time now to do it. And she's a beast at prioritizing it and being super productive with her time. I'm getting there. But when I first started, I actually did work in power pockets throughout the day. And they're kind of more like hot mess pockets then, because I had no idea what I was doing. But there is absolutely a way. I've learned so much, but there's a way to do it where you are focused. So it's not necessarily about how much time you have, but making sure that you are laser focused during the time that you do have, to be able to focus on the activities that are going to drive your business forward. So that can be in power pockets throughout the day, maybe waking up, getting your workout in, doing your personal development in the morning, or like I said, maybe on the way to work, popping in, a podcast and listening to a podcast, or, taking some calls in the car. That's a great way to kind of maximize your time. If you have a commute to work and you have 20 minutes and there's a person that's interested in hearing about Transform 20, you can say, hey, listen, I'm available from this time. I'll be in the car. Can you hop on the phone and we chat about this, together? So just really taking those pockets and intertwining these activities in a way that fits best for your schedule. So now in this season of life, I, wake up, I have my time with Jesus, and I have usually about maybe an hour, hour and a half to squeeze in my workout. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I love it when my kids hop in too, and they love to work out. They actually get mad at me when they wake up and they're like, Mommy, you worked out already? So that's a neat way to live that example, right? Like live that out for your kids to see. But I try to sometimes squeeze my workout in, but I also like to get maybe about an hour in of coach work where I can respond to messages that I missed from the night before, really get to connect with people and, respond to people and share what it is that we have going on. And then in the afternoon, I really kind of hunker down and try to, at my desk, focus for another couple of hours based off of, the season, what's going on, my kids' nap schedules and all of that. But I spend a little bit of time in the afternoon, focusing on some things as well. So some people do an hour in the morning maybe, or an hour at night, but starting out, we do recommend about an hour, to 2 hours of time. And again, we would teach you what to do during that time. So we're not just sending you out there to figure it out on your own. We would show you exactly what to do during that time so you're maximizing that time, because that's a big thing that we stand for too, is making sure that we're protecting our priorities. This business should not overtake your life. I've been in that season before where I really do love this so much, guys. Like, I wish you could jump into my heart and feel it. Like, I love what we do so much that I kind of took it overboard to where that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to just constantly talk to people and, share with people. And, God had to kind of show me how to still give my all, but do it in a way that still honors and protects, my family time, and making sure that that's a priority too. So that all kinds of goes into, how you would fit it in, and it might change in different seasons. So we would get together and chat about what that would look like for you and how to get you started in a way that you'll maximize your time.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think when I started, I was working in mental health, like 60 plus hours a week. I totally ran my business in power pockets the first year, like hardcore. And then once I was able to take this full time, that's when things kind of changed. And so, but you'll learn, there's probably 4 things that you have to really do for this business to see it grow every day. Each one can take about a 15-minute pocket and you're good. So some of them not even, like 5 minutes. So we'll definitely teach you how to maximize on your time and still be both effective and efficient. Some days when there's launches like Transform 20, you need a little bit extra time. And so the business ebbs and flows, but I love that I can flex hours where I need to. If Graham suddenly is working a 24-hour shift, that means the next day he's technically off. I can shuffle things around. So I make that day my Sabbath and move business hours in a different day. Like, that's time freedom is something I really am so grateful for. So guys, this is pretty much it. Here's how we're going to close out tonight. I want to talk about surrendered effort. This is something that our teams so Patrice and I are purpose partners. If y'all didn't know, God brought us together, and that is just a whole cool story. Like, we did not know each other before Beachbody. So if I can be thankful for anything, it's definitely Patrice right here. So we've been praying a lot over our teams, the Radiant Tribe, Team Race to Serve. And the thing that kind of kept coming back from a recent conference we went to is surrendered effort. We both have the tendency of striving, hustling. And I think that that's kind of where our culture is going a lot these days, is just work harder, work more, chase more. And suddenly business becomes, person to people instead of person to person. And so we've come back to this concept of surrendered effort that was really coined by Michelle Myers. And it's ultimately pursuing faithfulness in the business every day while having a surrendered heart posture. So it's me saying, God, I'm going to show up and be obedient, because Beachbody is now a responsibility. I don't consider it an opportunity. If you think about the parable of the talents, Beachbody is a talent in my hand, and now I'm responsible for it. So I can't just slack, because God is my boss and he's trusted me with it. So I'm going to show up every day and be faithful and be obedient and share and invite and do all the things that I am called to do within that platform. But the outcome is his. And that's the difference. That's what a surrendered effort looks like. It's you detach yourself from the outcome, because it's not going to be about rank advancing all the time. It's not going to be about income. All of that is his. Your job is to show up, and his job is to show off. We say that all the time, but I can tell you, if I can share how I got to where I am today in this business, it really is just that. I think it's somewhere, I forget where in the New Testament. And every time, Nicole, I look for you to reference it, but it's the whole passage where, Paul says, I planted the seed, Apollos watered it, and God gave the growth. You've got to plant the seeds, you water it, and then God gives the growth. So please don't disqualify yourself because you're already like, I can't get these results. Don't worry about the results. Are you willing to pursue faithfulness in just those activities? Does this sound like a mission you want to be a part of? The fitness industry is a very dark place. It's very conceited. I don't know. It's not pretty, quite honestly. I used to think that this was not really a mission field, and now more than ever, thank you, 1 Corinthians 3:6, now more than ever, it is a mission field. And the reason why we are so selective with who comes on our teams is because we understand that we have to bring purpose-driven women on. Are the perks there? Yeah, you actually might maybe wonder, like, when are they going to talk about compensation? Why isn't this a part of their speaking? Oh, it's on purpose. We're not going to talk about compensation. By the way, compensation is amazing, and the perks are amazing. When I signed up to be a coach, I didn't know anything about the compensation. Nothing. And Graham was like, this is my personality, by the way. I just died. Like, whatever. Because what sold me was the heart. What sold me was the mission. Getting paid for it was a bonus. I don't even know why I was getting paid for it. This is stuff I would do anyway. Did it replace my full-time income? Yeah, but guess what? That didn't happen by accident. That was faithfulness. And then God brought that with the fruit. That's on him. Like, if he brings that, I will honor him with that. But there's a reason why we're not leading with compensation tonight. So for the woman that is saying yes to the purpose, yes to the faithfulness, talk to the person who invited you here tonight one-on-one, and they will explain the compensation. We want you to make a decision with wisdom. And understanding the compensation is important. I'm just ridiculous. It is important to understand it, but it shouldn't lead the business. The money should not lead the business. It's a fruit of it. It doesn't lead it. And I think that's when you get lost. So when people ask me, why do people quit? They get too caught up with the money aspect. They get too caught up with the comparison aspect. There's a lot of things that can steal your joy in this business. And so we found that when we commit to surrendered effort, instead of strategized striving, and focus on purpose over perks, being grateful for the perks, but not letting them jade the purpose, we stay steady and anchored in the storm, because this business is upset. Listen, I'm like going to talk you out of it. Entrepreneurship is not easy. It's not easy. A lot of up and down. People are hard because they're human. And that's who you're working with. You're working with people. And so you have to kind of grow a thick skin. Not that you become hard-hearted toward people, but you have to have a very strong anchor for your boat. It's a bumpy ride. And you have to remain rooted in purpose. Because if at the first sign of suffering you quit, you were never anchored in purpose. You were anchored in perks. And so I hope that makes sense tonight. And that surrendered effort pep talk, by the way, this goes to everything. Your marriage, to motherhood, ministry, everything that you do, that surrendered effort posture has changed everything for me with my own health journey, nutrition, you name it, it's affected it. So I hope that it encourages you as well tonight. So we're just going to wrap up in prayer. Again, there's no pressure. We don't do high pressure. I don't believe in high pressure. Neither does Patrice. We're pretty ridiculous people when you get to talk to us one-on-one. Pretty sure we bust jokes 80% of the time. So this is really just for you. If you're here, it's a compliment. It's us saying that you inspire us and that we believe in you and we believe in the story that God has written for you and is writing in you. And so that's all this means tonight. And whether you decide with the Lord this isn't for you or the right time, that's you guys, right? That's the outcome. We trust God with that. But if nothing else, we hope that this has been just an encouragement to you. It gives you a closer peek into who we are as Team Beachbody, who we are as our specific individual teams and our hearts, and what we actually do behind the scenes every single day as far as running groups, providing accountability, loving on people, and it's a pretty wonderful time. So we're going to close in prayer. Reach out to your coach who brought you here. If you have an answer, if you need some time tonight, of course, take it. You should probably pray on it and sit on it. But at this point, you talk with them. Deal? Can I get nods? Yes. All right, let's pray. Jesus, I just thank you. Thank you for choosing to use us. I know you don't need us, but it is truly a privilege and incredibly humbling to wake up every day, like Erica would say, for my life, not just to my life, and see this responsibility of coming into people's homes, their marriages, their story. This is so much bigger than just a physical health journey. It's a huge responsibility, but it's beautiful. I'm just asking God that you would be very clear with people tonight. I pray that fear would not write their story tonight, but you would. There's a lot of reasons why we may say no to something. Insecurity, doubt, whatever. And unless you're saying no, I'm just asking, Lord, that you would give peace, provide your peace if it is a yes. And that you would give us wisdom as mentors to know how to lead our teams, to know how to lead the individuals on our teams. Thank you again so much for this platform. Thank you for Team Beachbody and what they do. Thank you that they allow us to proclaim your name boldly every day. That's pretty huge. And so I always say that the secular can become sacred when there's a believer in it. And so anything can become a mission field. And so I just thank you again for this opportunity that we have. And it's in your name that we pray. Amen. All right, friends, we're going to stop the recording. Thank you so much for being here. That was not bad. That was like 37 minutes. I'm so impressed right now. So amazing. We love you. We're going to be reaching out to you guys individually. Your coach will be reaching out to you. But in the meantime, have a wonderful night. And thank you again for being here. Good night.